What is up, dreamers, and welcome back to some Mobius Final Fantasy. I'm really excited for this first episode because this is actually my first installment of my in-depth analysis of Mobius Final Fantasy. In these videos, we will be chronicling what actually happened in the definitive story of Mobius Final Fantasy from chapter to chapter. I'll be saving most of my theory crafting, if I can help it, for future videos, as I believe it's important for us to have an actual grasp on the storyline itself. I will be using the Final Fantasy Wikia as a source of information, as they have more details than what's actually accessible in the game. And with all that, let's get started. A man with amnesia arrives in Palamecia on a stream of light. Vox is the first voice you hear, as he explains this man's ties to his past are no longer valid in this world he's arriving.
But who you are, and who you were, mean nothing here. Look now, there. Do you see it?
I see it.
Palameceia, a world of hope unbound.
Our hero awakes on a beach, a strange beach, with some strange purple liquid. He also has a sword in his hand. So I thought this scene was significant because check out that purple liquid. It's gross, plus a monster pops out of it. That's when Vox explains the law of Palameceia. None shall remember the names of those who do not fight. When the battle is over, Vox asks these men their names, and the Warrior of Light does remember his name, which happens to be the same name as the other blanks around him. Vox explains that this name carries a special meaning in this world, and it is the name of the hero foretold to bring hope to Palamecia. It is the name of the Warrior of Light. Vox considers them blank slates, and names the men blanks. It is, in my opinion, noteworthy that Vox appears to put labels on everything from the get-go and calls the shots, being this kind of light-in-the-sky entity.
Yes, blank indeed.
So let me shine this light in your face.
You are blanks all. Listen then, blanks. Make for the north.
At this point, Garland kind of comes out of nowhere.
Best do what he says. Trust me, I know Vox can be a pain, but whatever he bothers to say is useful most of the time.
What about the rest of the time?
Complete and utter drivel.
This does kind of set a certain tone for whenever you hear Vox talk in the preceding chapters. When the Warrior of Light makes it to the plains of Cornelia, he does get kind of a sense that he's in a familiar place, but then kind of shrugs it off, which I did find interesting. The Warrior of Light gets convinced by Garland to save a Moogle, as it is part of the prophecy, and saving the Moogle would make a Warrior of Light friend to all Moogles, which would aid him on his journey. Garland then explains that his role is to temper those who show promise in becoming the Warrior of Light, but I kind of doubt this is any official role since, as you just saw, lightning comes down from the sky by Vox, as, Garland was mid-sentence.
Such dying.
Look at the poor thing. Those desperate little eyes.
The Warrior of Light saves Mog, and Mog takes Warrior of Light to the Runic Temple, as per the prophecy, at the plains of Cornelia. Warrior of Light fights his way all the way to the inner crystal, and when he touches the crystal, an image of Princess Sara appears. The Warrior of Light vows to Sara to protect the people of Palamecia, and so Sara grants him the boon of House Cornelia, which basically allows Warrior of Light to teleport. I will also say that when I first encountered Sara, I kind of got the like a vibe that she was being fake, or that she was like reading a script or something. She just came off as such a generic character that it took me off guard, and I know I'm not the only one who kind of got that vibe. I do feel like we will be doing a Sara video of her own, since I think she's kind of a mastermind in her own right. Wall then meets a tiny winged fairy called Echo, who congratulates the Warrior of Light for being chosen. She says that she is his guide per destiny, but Mog explains that Echo is more of a field fairy who offers guidance to travelers and promises to lead them to great treasures, but instead leads them to great peril or even their deaths. Echo is also only visible to Warrior of Light, and Mog explains that no one has ever seen her. The Warrior of Light learns that the world is slowly dying because of chaos and its monsters. Garland shows up again and warns the Warrior of Light about women after hearing he has spoken to Sara in one of my favorite Garland lines of all time.
Heed a friendly warning. Women are as foul a demon as any.
Amen to that.
Women are the foulest of all.
The Moogle tells the Warrior of Light to ignore Garland because he's a heretic. This is where things get interesting. Vox orders the Blanks to kill Garland, which he kills in one blow. When the Warrior of Light sees Garland again, he says that he is watching the Warrior of Light to make sure he doesn't stray. This is interesting, and I'm wondering why Vox wants to keep Garland out of the castle. On the way to the castle, the Warrior of Light notices that some Blanks in certain areas kind of have a moldy smell, which will be a reoccurring theme that seems to represent people who have stopped progressing or just haven't moved on. The Warrior of Light and Mog arrive at the ruins of Castle Cornelia that has an old painting of Princess Sara where Warrior of Light again notices the smell of mold. Not wanting to rot himself, the Warrior of Light decides to move on and touches the teleportation stone that sends him to Crownforge in another stream of light.
And let's go. The longer I'm here, the more I feel like I'll rot.
In the end, we find ourselves with more questions than answers. Who or what is this Vox, and what role does he really play in all this? He already does seem like a sort of self-appointed god. In particular, Garland also seems to have ulterior motives, and the Warrior of Light and the viewers are really unsure if he's really a good or bad guy. Also, there's really no explanation or backstory for Echo besides that she's your guide. Every single person in the story wants you to go along with the prophecy, and our hero does go along with it, which is clear. What is unclear is everyone's true motivation. Thank you so much for joining me on this first installment of our in-depth story analysis. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. It was definitely just a pleasure, a lot of fun putting it together for you guys, and also a lot of work. So if it wouldn't be too much trouble, if you enjoy this kind of video, don't hesitate to share it, to leave a thumbs up, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to support this channel and future in-depth analyses on Final Fantasy and other RPG and, game storylines. Really appreciate you coming by, and if you stayed till the end, let me know, man. Let me know how you feel about all the story. It's been a pleasure to put this together for you. I wish you the best of luck. I hope to see you on the next episode, and I'll catch you next time.